Hi! Today we are going to learn how to build a trails and hiking routes site. CM Map Routes allows you and your users to create and showcase routes in Google Maps, including images and notes for each location. In this example use case guide, we'll cover how to create a directory of routes. We consider that you have already bought the plugin and installed it. Upon installation, the plugin automatically creates a page for the route index and another for the dashboard. Head to CM Map Routes Manager Pro, Settings, General tab to find shortcuts to these pages and enable or disable them. To show Google Maps on your site, you're required to create and then add a Google Maps API key into the plugin. To obtain the Google API key, follow these steps. Head to the Google Developers web page. Log into your Google account. Go to your project or create a new one. Head to APIs and Services and then Library. Select one of the API from the list. You may have to search for it by using the search bar. This page is important. In it you can enable the API and find resources about it. Repeat these steps for all the API keys you need to enable. JavaScript API, Geocoding API, Places API, Static API, Elevation API, and Directions API. After you have enabled all the API keys, activate the sidebar menu and click on Credentials. You will find the API key there, ready to be copied and pasted into the plugin settings. Once you have the key, adding it to the plugin is easy. Head to the Setup tab and copy it to the Google Maps API key field. In the same setting, you can click Test Configuration to ensure the connection is working. With the initial setup ready, head to CM Maps Routes Manager Pro, Routes. Both you and your users can use a fully fledged front-end form to create and edit routes. The plugin comes with a user-friendly location editor. The form is feature-packed. It has basic details: name, description, status, categories, tags, and any created custom taxonomy. Route settings will be applied to the details and map. Elevation graph. Settings that will affect the elevation graph. The chart showing from start to finish the change in altitude. Multimedia. Images and video. Import. Option to import the route points directly from an external file. Map. Location markers. Each point added to the map will result in a location with its corresponding coordinates. You can draw the route directly on the map, location by location. Travel mode. Choosing a travel mode for a new route causes the route to follow the most appropriate path: roads for cars, cycle paths for bikes, footpaths for walking. The direct acts as the crow flies path between waypoints. Each location can have description and multimedia items. Route page visual options. There are 6 themes to choose from. You can change the map theme from the General tab, Map Theme option. It's possible to offer additional tiles layers on your maps. This presents additional information on top of the map. By default, the plugin connects with the free OpenStreetMap service. The settings are in the General tab, Map section. Default map view. Choose what is the default view. Users can change this at any time. Insert URL for tile. Add the URL of the tile service of your choice. Change files feature. Let the visitor turn tiles on or off while browsing the map. The index page is perhaps the most important page of the plugin, and it can be extensively edited. In the index view, visitors can view all routes you have created. The users can sort routes by categories, difficulties, and route types. Search for specific routes. View routes in satellite or map view. Click on specific routes on the map to learn more, or see snippets of all routes or routes in a certain category below the map. To modify index page, navigate to Settings, Index Page tab. You can change index page layout. Sets the index page appearance as a list or as tiles. Index tile width. Sets the width of tiles that appear on the index page if the tiles layout is chosen. Routes per page. Limits the routes visible per page. Order routes by. Sets routes order by title, created date, views, rating, or user-located proximity. Sorting order. Sets the order of sorting to either ascending or descending. Search for whole words. Toggles whether to search for partial words or only to search for whole words. Information visible on the index page. Determines snippet information seen on the index page. Text on top. You can enter text which will be displayed on the top of the index page below the page title. Apply the root's color to its snippet background. Connects the snippet to the root by giving the snippet the same background color and the color chosen for the root. Show categories description on the top. If disabled, the default text on top will be displayed. Show map with all routes on the index page. Toggles whether or not to display the map including all the routes on the index page. Index map default latitude. The latitude of the default view on the index page map if no routes to show. Index map default longitude. The longitude of the default view on the index page map if no routes to show. Index map default zoom. The greater the number in the drop-down menu, the closer the zoom will be. Embed the map script in footer. Enabling this option can solve some JavaScript issues. Enable marker clustering. Toggles marker clustering on and off. Clustered markers display more clearly than overlapping markers. Enable info window on marker. Shows the tooltip when clicking on a clustered marker listing each route. Trail stroke weight. Define the stroke's weight for the trail in pixels. Show full screen mode button. If enabled, the button shown below will appear on the top right corner of the map, allowing the route embed to occupy the whole window. Integrate with CM Map Locations plugin. In order for this feature to work, it requires the CM Map Locations plugin to be activated. Starting point for a route. You can choose which point will be shown as the starting point for the route displayed. Clicking on the map marker will choose the action for clicking on the map marker. Show user's position using browser's geolocation. Toggles whether or not to display the user's location using geolocation. Enable Find User Location button on map. Displays the Find Me button. Requires the previous setting to be enabled. Center map to user's location. Uses the web browser's geolocation API to center the map in the user's location. The plugin allows your users to add and edit their locations. Here we'll discuss a series of features that affect user access and permissions. Head to the Settings Access Control tab. From here you can edit who can access the index, access the route page, create routes, and edit their own routes. Options have choices. Everyone including guests, non-logged-in users. Note that to let guests creating maps you need the anonymous add-on. Only logged-in users, no matter the user role. Specific role, for example admin, editor or any other user role. Custom capability. You should add a new capability in this field and then include it in one or more user roles. You define what happens once a user has posted a route. Head to the Moderation tab. You can automatically approve the route or draft it until it's approved by you. Here enable or disable moderation and write one or more email addresses to receive the notice. In the same tab you can configure notifications. This will be sent to the moderator once a suggestion is received and to the user once the status of their route changes. Naturally, these settings only apply if moderation is enabled. Last but not least, you can show terms of service to first-time users that try to add the route. This is configured from the GDPR Settings tab. If your site is not in English or if your users don't speak English, that is okay. You can translate virtually all labels from the Labels tab. There are almost 170 labels you can adjust. To easily move routes between sites and devices, you can perform three main operations. To check them, head to CM Map Routes Manager Pro, Export Import. Import routes. Choose KML, KMZ or GPX files to import. CM Maps Route Manager calculates the ground distance of imported routes by using coordinates from the files and also Google Maps information. Import routes from CSV file with external GPX file. Each row is a route which can contain the link of a related GPX file. Export all routes. Will generate a zip archive with a KML file for each route. Note that imported routes are in direct travel mode by default. The user dashboard is a box which lists all the user routes and provides shortcuts to add or edit routes. You can change the visual and behavior of the dashboard from the Dashboard tab. You can add the user dashboard to other parts of the site by applying a shortcode My Routes table. Following instructions found in the plugin and guides, you and your users should be able to add multiple routes to your site. Thanks for watching the video.